Cadence of Conflict, Asia, August 14, 2017. A campaign is slowly mounting its groundswell against Philippine President Duterte concerning his past corruption. The Philippines is littered with classic mafia machine-style corruption, making it generally easy to find scandals on politicians. This has been building against the new Filipino president since about the same time the Philippines has needed aid from the U.S. against ISIS, all while the Filipino president campaigns on a continued platform of moving away from the U.S. so as not to be dependent on anyone, a normal sentiment in Filipino populism. A similar media war is mounting against both China and North Korea. This week, they came together in a story about made in China labeled goods actually being made in North Korea. Also, an old story was rehashed about the Chinese using scientific underwater drones in the South Sea, which could be used for military purposes, if nothing more than to make underwater maps for the Chinese and to spot American submarines. It is not far-fetched or newsworthy to claim that the Chinese could use academic or scientific tools for the military. China wouldn't be the first to perform military operations in the name of science. China's diesel-powered aircraft carrier, the Soviet-made Liaoning, was purchased from Russia to be little more than a floating museum. Now, it has been reverse-engineered to model at least 4 more aircraft carriers from China. China's underwater drones first made headlines not long after the Chinese captured a similar drone from the U.S. There seems to be a trend that China's tech is reverse-engineered, not invented. More interestingly is the role the U.S. has played. Better said, how the U.S. has played China. It wasn't fair, but it was avoidable. China wouldn't have most of its tech or its money for these military aggressions if American tech companies weren't outsourcing jobs to China. Companies only did that because Americans were obsessed with saving a few pennies on their goods. The country learned to copy those goods and took American money doing it, then got a big wallet, then got a big head. If the U.S. had confronted shame culture in its cultural exchanges, government, business, and otherwise, and educated whatever Chinese people they met in daily dealings and insisted on using the biblical view of repentance unto hope, China's government wouldn't be trying to save face quite so much and might even be cleaning things up at home a bit more. Then we have foiled military operations. This week, a crash in Australia. A truly gone awry military operation won't be so easily plastered across headlines. The West is trying to look weak in the eyes of the Chinese while mounting a press war against China and North Korea to stir popular support for action. That action is indeed becoming necessary, but only after unnecessary trade money and methods made it so. The swelling conflict in the Pacific could all have been avoided if Americans had simply insisted on paying a few more pennies to buy American. But it's too late to turn back. Now American taxpayers will have to pay for an expensive, otherwise unnecessary war against their manufacturer. Everyone is accountable for their own choices, but the U.S. knew better. Americans know the Bible's teaching to get one's own life in order first, and to confront shame by teaching the good news of forgiveness. But the U.S. didn't do that with China, not in business, and not even the Christians in dealing with Chinese churches in America. While it is all sad, the bigger victim is China. And that's the cadence of the conflict already seen in the Pacific.